Welcome, ICO friends, to another Mocktails and Masterpieces. I'm Matthew Kraemer, music director of the ICO, and I'm thrilled to be joined by the guest artist on our next subscription concert. Demarre McGill is with us. Welcome, Demarre.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
We are looking very much forward to your visit to Indianapolis. As I've talked throughout the season to our ICO subscribers and musicians, your resume, your performance history is outstanding. I'd like to go all the way back as we start to the beginning, though. I mean, I'm reminded of musical households, non-musical households that have produced, two brothers or sisters or a combination of both that have excelled to the very pinnacles of their career, as you certainly and your brother Anthony have done, whether it's the Manning brothers in NFL or Ira and George Gershwin, Serena Venus. I mean, to have, first of all, one member of a household to reach the very pinnacle of a career is outstanding. But obviously your musical environment and your family household must have been something very, very special. I would love to hear about growing up in Chicago and how music became a part of your life.
Yeah, it's a really good point. In hindsight, it's I find that even though I've lived it, it's a beautiful story. I think the key parts of this recipe are our parents, who created a household that was creative, it was motivated. There was an emphasis on, never saying you can't do something if that something was positive. I'm the older sibling, so Anthony, my younger brother, principal clarinetist of the New York Philharmonic, definitely grew up in a household full of music. I had been playing for a while. I was obsessed. I was passionate about flute and music making, and so he definitely grew up hearing that. But I have to say that even though there was no one really before me, just having the support and the kind of open-mindedness that my parents surrounded us with, of like not judging the music we're playing, never preventing us from dreaming, and then doing everything within their means to assist in making that dream come true. I would say that that was the recipe.
Outstanding. And you must have been fearless, I can only imagine, because the list of orchestras that you soloed with at such a young age, including the Chicago Symphony, I mean, to be able to stand up there in front of these prestigious orchestras and to perform, and then to continue your career as a principal flute of so many major American orchestras, now most recently Seattle Symphony. What also astounds me is your ability to work in all of these other genres as a principal flute, as a concerto soloist, as you do so frequently, a chamber musician, obviously, and as a pedagogue teaching. How do you juggle all of these responsibilities and maintain some semblance of a normal life?
Well, as long as there's planes, I need airplanes, um, but I've created an existence that I love. I can't imagine, as of now, my professional life without any one of those things. And it's because of the variety and my passion for all of these things that I do. It's because of that I always feel fresh when I'm in any kind of musical environment. You know, uh, I get to play Bartok's Concerto for Orchestra tomorrow night, and then rush to the airport so I can teach my CC at my University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music studio on Sunday and Monday. But I promise you that I am invigorated. I'm so wired after the orchestra concert, and I share that with my students. And then when I'm back in orchestra on Tuesday, I'm energized from my students, and I put that into my orchestra music. And then I travel to Indianapolis, and I'm fortunate enough to play a concerto with you all. I'm excited. It's just, I sincerely I love what I do.
And that resonates deeply. And you are obviously, as so many of our of us are dependent on those airlines to be on time to get from one place to another. I'm sure with your extensive travel history, you've got stories to share when things don't always cooperate with your itinerary. But luckily, we live in an age when you can connect digitally via Zoom, and imagine we all got accustomed in some way or another to connecting, especially during the COVID years of teaching and working with one another. Before we talk about the piece that you're going to be performing with us, I am curious about your own repertoire, which is, again, extensive. You play the traditional canon, but you're also very connected with new music as well. I wonder if you can talk to us a little bit about that dichotomy of always experimenting with new and working with living composers, but also preserving this very rich history that we have in music.
Right. You know, I've always, fortunately, have loved music in a very, very broad sense. It wasn't just, for instance, I love Baroque music. I love music of the Romantic era or the Classical era. I've just always have been fascinated and curious about music, one, and two, whatever I'm presented with, trying to find the best way to simply bring this piece to life without judgment. And as soon as you're part of that, is in bringing these, lifeless notes on the page to the point where someone listening to you can actually really feel something, you end up loving that piece. So through the process, I can't off the top of my head think of something that I really dislike, playing. So playing works by, the known composers, that's going to be a part of all of our trajectories, of course. I do believe that it's important to champion the works of living and breathing composers as well, because there are treasures currently out there that haven't even been discovered, and I love being part of discovering these works, including the work that I'm excited to play with you in the Indianapolis Chamber Orchestra.
And you've graciously offered to share a little bit of your playing with our Mocktails audience now. I wonder if you could set up this next segment for us.
So, speaking of living composers, there is a spectacular composer, Lowell Lieberman, who over the years I've had the fortune of crossing paths with and playing most of the works he's written for my instrument. And one of the works of his that I love dearly is his Flute Sonata. And this is the second and final movement of his brilliant Flute Sonata.
Thank you so much, Demarre, for sharing that beautiful performance of the Lieberman Flute Sonata. We look very much forward to having you with us here performing the work of another living composer, a composer that you have championed in the performance of this work, Kevin Puts. I enjoy his music immensely. I've programmed several of his works here, and this concerto has really taken a foothold. I remember you describing sharing the anecdote of the creation of this work, really the inception of the work through its commission, and you told it so brilliantly. I wonder if you could share that with us again here.
Sure. So I found out about this story from the source. I was doing a concert in San Francisco, and a wonderful couple left a letter for me backstage, and I was asked if I would be willing to meet them. I said sure. And in this letter, this couple described being fans of Kevin Puts, and the wife approached Kevin saying, I really would love to commission you to compose a work for my husband's birthday, I believe 75th birthday. Secretly, she did this. The same time, the husband secretly went to Kevin Puts and asked him, would you be willing to write a work as a gift to my wife for our wedding anniversary? So he received these two offers from the same household, and as a surprise to both of them, he composed this flute concerto. And oh my goodness, at least to my ears, there are moments where you really feel the sincerity, you feel this love in this music.
It's an outstanding work and quite challenging as well. I mean, whether it's the myriad multimeter passages or all of the extended techniques applied within the orchestration itself. Talk to us a little bit about playing it, because you have played it on many occasions.
Right. Well, it is a challenging piece. I have to say that it's from a performer's vantage point, it's absolutely worth it. It's gorgeous. There's lush melodies paired with you mentioned these multi-metered moments that are brilliant. One of the most fun endings of a concerto that I've been a part of, for sure. I won't give it away, but it's such a fun piece to play, and I find it also from the listener's standpoint a fairly easy work to grasp on first listening. Even though it's new, and even though there's these complex moments, I believe that everyone is able to really appreciate it on first listen.
I agree with you completely. I mean, talking about the end here, he even writes in the score, with great excitement, a little faster, if possible. I love the optimism in that, but it just comes across, like you said, with such incredible sincerity. The second movement in particular, with this Mozart inspiration, and then just the brilliance of orchestration, a virtuosic solo part. Demarre, we are delighted that you will be joining us in Indianapolis for this brilliant concerto and making time out of your very busy schedule, not only to join us in this interview, but for your performance in the coming weeks. Thank you so much, Demarre.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you.